This is the story of why Hayley Mills, one of Disney's brightest stars from the 1960s, still refuses to watch one of her most popular films more than 50 years after making it. When Mills went on tour promoting her memoir in September 2021, she revealed something that caught many fans off guard. She finds it difficult to watch That Darn Cat, her final Disney movie from 1965, because of how she looked on screen. Before we go any further, let's clear something up right now. Headlines claiming this was about something she filmed in 1961 got it wrong. The film Mills struggles to watch is That Darn Cat, released in December 1965 when she was 19 years old, and getting the facts straight matters, especially when we're talking about someone's personal struggles with body image. Part 1. The Golden Girl of Disney. Understanding why this revelation matters means going back to who Hayley Mills was in the early 1960s. London's Marylebone district gave birth to her on April 18, 1946, and entertainment was quite literally in her blood. Sir John Mills, her father, won an Oscar for his acting work, while her mother, Mary Hayley Bell, performed on stage and wrote novels. Her sister Juliet Mills also chose acting, making theater a family tradition that shaped everything about Hayley's early life. Tiger Bay in 1959 marked Hayley's film debut, and the BAFTA for Most Promising Newcomer she won made it clear she had something special. Walt Disney himself saw her potential and signed her to a 5-year contract in 1960, which set everything in motion. Pollyanna became her first Disney film in 1960 and turned her into an international sensation practically overnight. April 1961 brought her the Academy Juvenile Award for that performance, though Annette Funicello accepted on her behalf since she couldn't attend the ceremony. What most people don't realize is that Hayley Mills received the last juvenile Oscar ever awarded, because after her, the Academy discontinued that special award entirely. And that's when 1961 became truly Hayley's year. The Parent Trap hit theaters on June 21st with Hayley playing dual roles as identical twins Sharon McKendrick and Susan Evers, and the technical achievement of putting her on screen with herself was remarkable for its time. $25.15 million came in domestically, which adjusts to approximately $320 million in today's money, making it the highest-grossing Disney film at that time. The music became a hit too. Let's Get Together, credited to Hayley Mills and Hayley Mills, reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, which meant she sang a duet with herself and landed in the top 10. But 1961 wasn't finished with Hayley yet. July 20th brought the premiere of Whistle Down the Wind at the Odeon Leicester Square in London. Brian Forbes directed this British film in his directorial debut, while Richard Attenborough produced it. But what made it even special was that Hayley's own mother, Mary Hayley Bell, had written the novel it was based on. Alan Bates co-starred in his first starring role, and the whole production cost £161,000, yet became the 8th most popular film in the UK that year, earning over £240,000 in profit by 1971. A BAFTA nomination for Best British Actress came Hayley's way for her work in it. A Golden Globe for New Star of the Year also arrived in 1961. By any measure, Hayley Mills sat on top of the world as Disney's golden girl, beloved by millions, and the perfect embodiment of wholesome youth and charm. Part 2. The Pressure of Perfection. But here's what audiences didn't see behind that perfect image. A young woman was struggling with the fame, the constant attention, the expectations that were taking their toll. Hayley has been remarkably candid about this in Forever Young, her memoir published in September 2021, and in the interviews that followed. One particularly revealing quote from a 2021 interview captured it perfectly when she said, "I couldn't possibly live up to the Hayley Mills image. As the image and the fame grew, my sense of self shrunk. It couldn't keep up with that." Picture this for a moment. A teenager adored by the whole world felt like she was disappearing inside that adoration. Bulimia developed during her teenage years and into her 20s while working for Disney, and eating disorders she's spoken about openly in recent years. Interviews and television appearances brought excruciating discomfort because she felt she couldn't measure up to the image everyone had built of her. Footage exists from a 1967 interview for the British program Inside Film, when she was 21 years old, and watching it, you can see this discomfort play out in real time. She appears quite uncomfortable throughout, frequently looking down and almost hiding from the camera while playing with her hair. The confident star everyone imagined wasn't there, just a young woman struggling under the weight of impossible expectations. Part 3. The final Disney film. 6 films for Disney came out of Hayley's contract between 1960 and 1965. That Darn Cat arrived last on December 2, 1965. Robert Stevenson directed this comedy about a Siamese cat who becomes involved in solving a kidnapping, and Buena Vista Distribution handled its release. Dean Jones appeared in his first Disney film alongside Hayley, joined by Dorothy Provine, Roddy McDowall, Elsa Lanchester, and Frank Gorshin in supporting roles. Critics liked it quite a bit, giving it a 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and it earned a nomination for an Edgar Allan Poe Award for Best Motion Picture Screenplay. A second-place Golden Leaf Award for Comedy Performance went to Hayley for her work in the film. Objectively speaking, That Darn Cat was a success. For Hayley, though, filming it told a completely different story. Part 4. The Revelation. September 2021 arrives, and Hayley Mills, at 75 years old, is promoting Forever Young, her memoir. The Keep It podcast, hosted by Louis Vertel, brings her on, and the conversation turns to her Disney films, which is when she dropped this revelation. Her exact words were, "Well, it's a very amusing film. I enjoyed that. It's very funny. The only thing is, my vanity is still a problem. I don't like looking at myself on the screen when I'm really fat, and I was really fat in that film. Whatever I did, my face was like a balloon." 19 years old when she made that film. Just 19. More than 50 years later, she still describes herself as really fat in it, and says her face was like a balloon, which shows you the power of body image issues and how they don't simply fade with time. But that's when she said something equally revealing about her earlier Disney films. They, Pollyanna and The Parent Trap, were the best 2 films I made for Disney. Those 2, I think they do stand out, whereas I'm not quite so sure about some of the others. Notice what she's really saying there. Films she made in 1960 and 1961, when she was younger, when perhaps the pressure hadn't yet fully mounted, those are the ones she has a soft spot for, as she's described them elsewhere, and considers her best work. That Darn Cat, though, her final Disney film that closed out her contract, that's the one she can't bring herself to watch. Part 5. Understanding the context. What was happening to child stars in that era deserves some understanding. The 1960s operated differently for Hollywood, and Disney in particular had very specific ideas about how their stars should look and behave. Maintaining a certain image came with enormous pressure, staying forever young and innocent even as these young performers naturally grew up and changed. A 5-year contract from 1960 to 1965 bound Hayley. Think about what happens to a person between the ages of 14 and 19 for a second. Everything changes: your body, your sense of self, your understanding of the world. But Disney's image of Hayley Mills was supposed to stay the same as that bright, cheerful, perfectly wholesome girl. No wonder she developed an eating disorder. No surprise that she felt her sense of self shrinking as the image of her grew larger. The entertainment industry has always been brutal about women's appearances, but catching you during your formative years makes it particularly cruel. And here's the thing about That Darn Cat being her final Disney film. After this, she would be free of the contract, at 19 years old, on the cusp of adulthood, and ready to move on to different kinds of roles. The body image issues, though, that developed during those Disney years, those stayed with her for decades to come. Part 6. Life After Disney. Acting continued for Hayley Mills after That Darn Cat, but she stepped away from the Disney image deliberately. More mature and complex roles came her way in theater, in British television, in films far removed from the wholesome Disney fare that made her famous. Disney honored her in 1998 by naming her a Disney legend. January 9, 2022, brought something rather touching when the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences replaced her original juvenile Oscar that had been stolen years before, but not with another juvenile award. A full-size Oscar statue came to her instead, giving her, after all these years, the recognition she deserved in the form she deserved. Recognition and a long-respected career haven't changed one thing, though. She still can't watch That Darn Cat, and that's what makes this story so poignant. The quality of the film or her performance isn't the issue here. Critics liked it, and audiences liked it, and she won an award for it. But none of that matters when you look at yourself on screen and see only your perceived flaws. Part 7. The Broader Conversation. Important conversations opened up because of Hayley Mills' honesty about this issue. When she revealed this on the Keep It podcast in 2021, many people were struck by her candor about the whole thing. Someone who had been a symbol of perfection was admitting that she felt anything but perfect, which resonated with audiences in ways she might not have expected. Forever Young delves deeper into these struggles, and the response has been largely supportive from readers and critics alike. People appreciate her willingness to talk about eating disorders, about the pressure of fame, about the lasting impact of having your formative years play out in the public eye where millions of people watch your every move. She doesn't blame Disney or anyone in particular, which is worth mentioning. Walt Disney himself and many of her experiences making those films get warm words from her in interviews. Pointing fingers isn't what this is about for her. Acknowledging that the entertainment industry of the 1960s, like today, put enormous pressure on young women and that pressure can have lasting effects, that's the real point she's making. Part 8. What She Loves. Balancing this story means looking at what Hayley Mills has said she does love about her work over the years. Pollyanna and The Parent Trap get repeatedly praised as her best Disney films whenever she talks about that era. Whistle Down the Wind gets spoken of fondly in multiple interviews, and a long, varied career has brought her joy and satisfaction that she talks about openly. Regretting her time in the spotlight or wishing it had never happened isn't where she's at. Being honest about the complicated reality of being a child star, about the price of perfection, about how it feels to look back at your younger self through the lens of years of struggling with body image, that's what she's chosen to share with the world. Something brave lives in that honesty when you think about it. Staying silent was an option. Generic answers about loving all her films equally would have been easy to give. Instead, at 75 years old, she chose to tell the truth by saying, "I don't like looking at myself on the screen when I'm really fat." And I was really fat in that film. More than 50 years have passed since That Darn Cat was released, and Hayley Mills still can't watch it. Not because it's a bad film, because it's not. Not because she gave a bad performance, because she didn't. When she looks at that screen, though, she doesn't see what we see. She sees a 19-year-old girl who she believes didn't measure up to what was expected of her. This story isn't really about one film or one actress when you step back from it. The impossible standards we place on young women, especially in the entertainment industry, that's what this is really about. Body image issues lasting a lifetime. The gap between the image the world has of you and the image you have of yourself. These are the real subjects here. Pollyanna, The Parent Trap, Whistle Down the Wind, and yes, That Darn Cat, all came from Hayley Mills' work. An Oscar came to her, Disney legend status followed, and a career spanning more than 6 decades built on that foundation. But she's also a human being who struggled with eating disorders, with the pressure of fame, with seeing herself as never quite good enough, no matter what she accomplished. The next time you watch one of her films, and I hope you do because they're delightful, remember that behind that bright smile was a young woman carrying a tremendous weight on her shoulders. Remember, too, that she's chosen in her later years to speak honestly about that weight, and that honesty is perhaps her greatest gift to us now, the reminder that perfection is an illusion, and that even Disney's Golden Girl had struggles that the cameras never captured. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and if you've struggled with body image issues yourself, know that you're not alone, because even legends have these battles.